Welcome. My name is Russell Davis, and I am the Director of International Student Enrollment at DKU. And this is about the last you're going to hear from me because I am so delighted to have a group of our current students here who are the people that you really want to hear from to talk and share a little bit about their experience here at DKU. I'm going to hand the microphone over here to your moderator, Tekla, here in just a moment. But I did want to just say, if you've got some questions, you can put those into the chat, and I will keep an eye on those, and I may answer some during the chat. Some of our panelists may jump in and answer a few, but what we'll do is we'll certainly get to as many of them as we can during the Q&A section of the panel today. But without further ado, I am going to step into the background and hand the microphone over to Tekla, who will, along with the others, introduce themselves so you know who are your panelists for today. All right, enjoy.
Thank you, Russell. Hello, everyone. It's really nice to meet all of you. We will first start with introducing ourselves as the panelists. So I would like to ask Faith to introduce herself first.
Hi, my name's Faith. I'm from the USA. I'm class of 2026. I'm a material science major with a concentration in physics, and I've been in like a bunch of random parts of DKU, but right now mainly I'm in like the women's football and physics journal, which is both very interesting. I put some pictures here so you can see. There's none from the physics journal because there's not pictures taken, but still very fun thing. But yeah, reach out if you have any questions about that.
Next, could I please ask Tomiris to introduce herself?
Hi everyone. Am I start up?
We can hear you. You're good.
Oh, thank you. Hi everyone. My name is Candice, and I'm from Astana, Kazakhstan. I'm class of 2026, and I'm currently third year student. I majored in political economy with track in economics, and my current extracurriculars include being research assistant for living and learning community of emerging leaders, and I also do research about connections. And I'm also aspiring to Kunshan Student Orientation here at Duke next semester. It's really nice to meet you. So yeah, looking forward to talking to you.
Thank you, Tomiris. Offman, do you want to go next?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Etzman. I'm from Morocco. I major in data science and I'm currently a senior. I think I'm the only senior here. And yeah, I've been at DKU for a while, so I've done a lot of things, but outside of class, what I do most of the time now is play football. I'm the co-captain of the team and I'm an RA as well. And sometimes I participate in CS related events. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Delphin?
Hey everyone, my name is Delphin. I'm a sophomore and I'm Turkish. My major is Media Arts Creative Practice track and my concentration is filmmaking, documentary. Some extracurriculars that I'm working on this year is I'm the secretary of the Intercultural Book Club and I also participate in weekly writings and I'm going to be heading the poetry club next year. I also volunteer in DK organized film and music festivals and obviously I do filmmaking because that's my major.
Fantastic. Matilda?
Hey guys, I'm Matilda. I'm from Shanghai, China, and I'm from class of 2007. I'm a sophomore student, and we haven't declared a major officially yet, and I'm a little bit struggling with that right now. I've been doing math my entire freshman year, but now I'm thinking about to switch to cultural anthropology or social science under computational design. And the events I'm working on right now mainly are the captain of the DKU tennis varsity team. Also, I'm doing residential assistant, RA, and also I'm a member of student clubs, talk to 101 professors, and student alumni board. And also I'm doing a research with a journalism professor in DKU about the Russian language in previous USSR countries and Eastern Bloc area. So yeah, nice to meet you all. And if you have any question, you can just like put it in the text box.
Thank you, Matilda. And lastly, before we move on to the panelist, I also want to introduce myself, even though I will not be necessarily sharing my experience. But my name is Tekla. I'm originally from Hungary, Europe. I'm a class of 2026, which makes me a junior student. And my major is ethics and leadership with tracks in philosophy. And I'm currently studying abroad at Duke University as like my study abroad semester. And some of my extracurriculars include what Thomas will become, which is Kunshan Student Orientation Peer, which is kind of helping the students get included in the Duke environment. Similarly, I'm co-president of the DKU House Council. And lastly, I work with international enrollment management and have been for the past 2 years. With that being said, I think we are done with introductions. So if everyone's ready, then we'll begin. My first question would be, what was it like transitioning to China? What were some of the biggest surprises and challenges? And I think we could start with perhaps Delphin, so you know the most recent one.
So I do want to mention that because I'm Turkish and due to the relationship between Turkey and China, I think experience was a little tougher because Turkish residents getting bank accounts and phone numbers is a little more of a difficult process. But overall, the transition process, if you are able to participate in orientation, DKU helps you a lot with the whole transition process because throughout the orientation period, they're going to have vendors from phone brands and they're going to help you get a phone number in China because in order to do anything in China, you need a Chinese phone number. And you're also going to have people from CCB, which is a Chinese bank that a lot of DKU students use. And DKU does help you a lot with everything. Also, ISS is going to be your best friend in the first 3 months or so when you're getting your visa first coming here. And then once you get here, you have to get your residence permit and you have 24-hour registrations. It does seem a little scary when you first land, but I promise DKU does help you a lot through everything. And also meeting your roommate, they usually they announce the roommate assignments a while before you come to DKU, so you have a chance to meet your roommate ahead of time, set up social media, email back and forth. So that's what I did with my roommate, and coming here in Munich was a great experience.
Great, thank you. Faith, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, mine was a little different because I first started off in Barcelona when we had COVID. So I came to DKU probably like second semester of like when all the international students came and stuff. But I was like, I remember being very confused. But I think if I leaned on DKU more, I would have been less confused. But yeah, I think setting up the banking out was a giant thing. You shouldn't wait a month into doing it. It just leads to pain. And definitely the phone as well. But I don't think it was that bad. Me and my roommate got along very well and stuff. It was very nice to know who my roommate was before. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Pretty solid transition.
Thank you. Thomas, do you perhaps want to hop in as well?
Yeah, I had a similar experience with Face because I also started out from Barcelona. I would say transition to China was also pretty smooth. And I think I was relying a lot on ISS. And DQ is pretty helpful. You can always reach out to different offices, and they will always have someone to help you out. Even this year when I had to redo my residence permit and everything, they can always find people to vote with you to the entry exit bureau. So usually like not knowing the language or not knowing how the process goes is not a problem here. So yeah, I would say just reach out to DKU when in question.
That's some great advice. Othman, do you want to add anything? I think Othman may be frozen. We'll get back to him in a second then. Matilda, I don't know if you needed to transition to China, but how would you say your transition to DKU was like?
Um, I don't really have the feeling that I'm going to college in another city, although technically it's another different city. But because my home is like in Shanghai, so like an hour drive from DKU, so like I can still go back and forth every weekend. Um, but yeah, but it still have a little bit culture difference, I guess. Because Kunshan is like a small and like peaceful city, where Shanghai is like more metropolitan, like a great population, so many things going on every day. But I think at least from my perspective, in terms of undergrad school, studying in a really peaceful place here can really like make sure that you're not distracted by many things and can like make you focus on academic more. So yeah, I think that's the very important point that I like a lot about like DKU and Kunshan.
Thank you. Offman, are you back by any chance? We can hear you like very like robot-like.
We can give him a few more minutes, I think.
Yeah. I think we can move on then. We can return to Offman a bit later then. Thomas, you mentioned about like arriving to China with, not much of like Mandarin. So I would like to ask all of the panelists who, came to China with no Mandarin experience or very little perhaps. What was your level of Mandarin when you arrived? And if you had little or no Mandarin abilities, how was it getting around, going off campus? What was it like?
I think I could start off as a person who mentioned that. So when I came to DKU and my first kind of semester of learning Chinese was kind of online in Barcelona. That's why when I arrived to China in spring semester, I already had some basic knowledge of Chinese, but honestly, it's very basic, like it won't get you far. So yeah, fairly, I had zero to no, yeah, basically zero knowledge before DKU, and when I came to China, also like almost zero knowledge. And honestly, it's not that, it's obviously challenging, but I think in terms of like getting around and I think because DKU is so international and then you have a lot of international people surrounding you who probably also don't speak Chinese that well, and then there are a lot of Chinese students who are eager to help you. You're always welcome, and that's why like in terms of like getting around, it's not that difficult. Obviously it is challenging, but honestly first few months, I would say, translator is your best help. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was that tough. It was more like on a fun side, for me, to be honest. Just trying out and practicing your Chinese more, trying your best. And sometimes when you like translate the same phrases all over again, like you just learn them by heart at some point. So yeah, it's not that bad.
Thank you. I think you mentioned a great point of just, taking the challenges as fun rather than like difficulties. Delphine, do you want to hop in?
Yes, I would love to. So I was one of the students that didn't speak any Mandarin when I came here. Like the only word I knew was ni hao, I think. So it is definitely very difficult. And like Thomas said, translation apps are going to be your best friend. But on the other hand, the DKU's Chinese education is genuinely incredible. So it's 4 days a week and you meet every day. And the teachers are they're very involved and they make sure that within a few months you can sort of get by. And the whole focus is on learning things and learning vocabulary that is going to be useful in daily life. But if you had any language learning experience in a high school setting, you know that's not usually how it works. But DQ genuinely puts a lot of effort into making sure that you can navigate China without relying on translation apps. And on the other hand, you also get a lot of chances to meet Chinese students, and I've never seen a Chinese student that wasn't willing to help you out with translating something or helping you navigate something, or even in some cases doing phone calls for you if it's something that you cannot do yourself. So it is a little scary at first, but like within a month, I think I was doing good enough to like navigate China by myself. I mean, of course, doing very hard things and doing certain transactions is still difficult, but you learn by doing. And I'd also want to mention that DKU itself, the campus is sort of a bubble, and you learn better Chinese by going out and exploring more. So if you just stay on campus, it'll be fine because everyone here speaks great English. But when you go out, that's a different story. But it's also a lot of fun.
Thank you. Faith, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think what Tomedy said was like probably the main thing of like just going with and being like okay with like not knowing. I think from my class specifically, everyone who got here, like, or especially from the Barcelona cohort, everyone's favorite word was like, there's a song that's like 对不起，我的中文不好, and it's just this song that's like, I'm sorry, my Chinese is horrible. I'm so sorry, and I don't understand. And you just have to get used to saying that to people. And after a while, you're just like, yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I like don't understand. So like if your driver calls you who's like, you got food because you missed like dinner or something, you ordered food, and the driver calls you and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I have actually no idea what you're saying. Please leave it here in the best or like worst possible Chinese. Like they're nice. If you have a mean one, you just ignore it. Or just hang up. But they're usually very, very nice if you tell them like you don't understand or something, or if you ask them like go like speak quieter. I remember one time I had this issue with like a delivery, and it was like a McDonald's delivery, and I remember it was like it started randomly raining, and I was at the like North Gate before we had like an actual delivery system for food. And I remember like a really, really nice Chinese guard came and helped me look for my Waimai all over campus because it got delivered to like some different gate. And I didn't speak good Chinese and he didn't speak good English, and we were meeting in the middle, and it was really nice. So I think there's like a lot of people that are willing to help you. Like you just have to like reach out and ask for sure. 100%. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Faith. Offman, are you back with us?
I hope so.
Yes, you are. Can you please answer the question?
Yeah, well, I'll kind of answer both questions in one at once. When I got here, I was a junior just because I joined DKU earlier than everyone here, and it was during COVID. So my class was a bit scattered. We were in different places, in different programs around the world. Some of us were at Duke, some of us were somewhere else. But when I got here, I already had friends that I made and met at Duke and in other places. So when I got to China for the first time, they all helped me setting up everything I needed. It was very smooth, very easy to do. DK was very helpful as well. When it comes to Mandarin, I had taken classes online by then, so I knew a little. I will say it wasn't the most helpful, especially because I learned it online, which meant I did not practice that Chinese at all. So I wasn't that good, even though I've been taking classes for over a year. But as everyone said here, everything is so convenient. You could just use your phone and get around. People are helpful. Your classmates are helpful. Yeah.
Thank you. So Matilda, obviously you didn't have the challenges of learning Mandarin, but how is it living in like China and in Kunshan, having to be fluent in Mandarin? And also, how do you perceive like internationals learning Mandarin at DKU?
Um, Um, I feel after I got into DKU, my Chinese got worse and worse in a way. Because of course you spend most of the time on campus speaking English. But I feel at least for international students, because I talk a lot with my roommate who's from Seattle when I was in freshman year. Um, and I feel for international students, there are a lot of opportunities to enhance and improve your Chinese level. Because I think your Chinese roommate will be like very nice source because when you're a freshman, everyone will like every international student will be assigned a Chinese roommate that they want to like make sure this match kind of. Also, there are like some more advanced Chinese classes that have both international and Chinese students with like a more interesting topic like one of the classes I took last semester is called forbidden love in Chinese film. So like we have two classes every week, and one is in Chinese, one is in English. I think that's a very kind of creative form of classes. And also outside of the academic life, I feel there are a lot of field trip opportunities as well. For example, because I'm also a member of the DKU Travel Club, so we will organize every 2 weeks a field trip to a certain place to like I think that would be a very great chance for international students to actually like go out of campus and to immerse themselves in the like real Chinese society and Chinese culture. Yeah. And also I heard next year the host family program are gonna restart again. So they're gonna match one international student with one Chinese family. So you're still gonna live on campus, but you're gonna, I'm not really sure, but you're gonna like spend some time with this family like every week or something. So they can like help you like navigate something. And you can also feel like what is like a real Chinese family feels like. Yeah.
Thank you, Matilda. And yes, the host family program is returning. I believe some students currently have already received their families. I don't know for this year or for next year, but it is a program that's returning. Okay, so Matilda, you also mentioned like the travel club and going off campus. With that, I would like to ask all of you, what's been your favorite experience on or off campus so far? You can mention extracurriculars, travels, anything that you would like to note as like an exciting part of living in China or living at DKU. Perhaps Offman, do you want to start?
Yeah, so I think my favorite experience was when DKU was invited to participate in the Suzhou League, especially the football, specifically the football team. The Suzhou League is basically a football league that's organized within Suzhou, and all the universities participate. And what makes it my favorite, or what makes it so good um is how serious it is. When we went there to the opening ceremony, there were so many performances, drones all over, live streams and commentary. It was on local TV. So whenever DKU plays a game, as part of the Suzhou League, we would have the game being in the sports complex televisions live with commentary. People can just follow. And I mean, when I joined DKU, that was never the plan. The plan was to come here and study CS, right? But I get to do that as well, so it's really fun, and I think that's my favorite, yeah, for sure.
That's great. Um, Delphine, do you want to hop in?
My favorite experience was that it happened this year actually. DK was hosting a film festival called Through the City with Her Camera, and it was about woman-made films that are made through Eastern Asian Eastern Asian directors. Zairong, actually, our director, was the one hosting it, our art director, and I was one of the volunteers. It was a great experience just being able to view all of those films, and DK was naturally providing English subtitles for everything for students that can't speak the languages. And they also provided live English translation for the Q&As with directors afterwards. Um, because I'm a film major, this is very interesting to me, and it was also great being able to talk to the directors and seeing what their thoughts, what their perspectives were, what their intentions were in making the films. So that was my best experience this year.
Thank you. Matilda, what was your favorite experience?
I feel well, of course in DKU we have like all kind of quote unquote fancy terminology like intercultural communication, like global rooted citizenship, etc. But I feel, you know, like just inside the campus, it's like a very small community. Also, like it's just in general, like if you just lock yourself on campus, you don't have a very close connection with the outside, like the local community or like the outside world of China. So I feel there are a lot of programs that actually encourage us to actually create the connection with the local society. For example, I've been writing for our school journal called Intersection. So we used to write one article about the local fisherman community, which is like after Japan released the nuclear wastewater, a lot of like the local fisherman community in Kunshan was like greatly influenced by that negatively, that the industry kind of shrank by half last year, and probably estimated it's going to shrink by 70% by this year. So I feel it is through this opportunity that you actually like know more about the place that you live in and the community that you kind of like are neighbors with. So yeah, I really like this kind of like program that can connect students with the local community.
Thank you, Matilda. Faith, do you want to hop in?
Yeah. I think my favorite, like, well, DKU sponsored thing to go off campus was probably the UNNC tournament that I did with soccer. We went the whole, well, all of sports that we had at the time went to Ningbo in the University of Nottingham, I think. I forgot. Okay, yeah, not say yeah. But we went to their campus for I think like 2 or 3 days for just like tournaments that happen with all of the sports clubs and stuff. And I think that was like amazing and really, really fun. Just ways to like we got to meet like a bunch of like obviously all the other teams because well some teams we didn't meet as much. Yeah. UNNC. The but we got to meet a bunch of see or like just actually be in contact with a bunch of like sports teams from like everywhere, like because it's all of the Sujo. It was like a bunch of like international because it was a Sino foreign event, so it was all like some of the other like foreign schools that we all came together and played in a tournament against each other. But I think that was probably one of my favorite experiences because we just got to like obviously stay on the Ningbo campus and it was really great. But other than that, I think I don't know, me and my friends go on like cafe tours because we don't like studying completely in DKU all the time. So we just go like off campus to like look at cafes. And I think that's like the funnest experience. Once you learn how to like order your favorite drink or something, you're like solid and you just sit there. And then it's really fun to like zone out when you don't want to study and like just listen to people. Because then you can convince yourself you understand what they're saying, but you probably don't. But that's yeah, it's really fun. And sometimes you get like really good like interactions with like the old like grandma and grandpas who like sit next to you and they're like, oh, what are you doing? Like, what are you studying? And then yeah, it's quite fun.
Oh, sorry, can I add on that a bit? Because
Of course, please.
because we actually just came back from Shanghai today because we went because this year they create something new called Sino Foreign Cup. So basically we have all of the schools like DKU, NYU Shanghai, Ningbo, Nottingham, and next year probably we're gonna have Cedar Liverpool, like schools like DKU where we like play together like every month. So it would be like a monthly game for us. Like also you can just meet people from like schools like DKU, like make new friends. And also we have like students from Wuhan University, like the Chinese side, the Chinese school of part of DKU. So yeah, they had like really different experiences in terms of academic or like school life. So I feel there are a lot of opportunities that can help you to like make friends with like people from other schools. It's really interesting.
Thank you, Faith. Thank you, Matilda.
Can I also
Thomas,
have one last thing really, really quick? I'm sorry.
Delphin, hop in, and then Thomas. Go on.
Okay, sorry, Thomas. Another great thing, since we haven't talked about any class, so I do want to mention a class because I'm taking film classes. This year, actually, I'm still taking it. We have an amazing film professor called Travis Wilkerson, and this session he invited a comedian from the U.S. and throughout about 3 weeks, we were filming our own documentary with Matt. And so how it worked was that the students were actually directing, writing scenes, and filming the scenes. And right now we're editing it, and it's going to be an incredible group work. And I just think it's so incredible that as a sophomore, you get a chance to make your own film with an accomplished film director in DKU. I love that so much. This is like, okay, I changed my mind. This is the best experience of this year.
Thank you, Delphin. Thomas, what was your favorite experience so far?
Well, I think as a junior, I've experienced quite a few events, and I would just like to elaborate on, I think, like 2 or 3 of them real quickly. One of them is basically there are annual like events organized by DKU which are huge events like HRC, which is HRC conference, which is Humanities Research Center conference that invites so many different professors and basically people who have so many great and meaningful contributions to the field of humanities in general to DKU. They give so many like speeches, and you can interact with professors from around the world. You can interact with book writers, with poets, with so many different people from that field, like very well-known people. And I think it's a great opportunity for everyone who's either not only majoring, but you might be majoring in something else, but you're really passionate about poetry, for example. And it's a great opportunity to meet your favorite authors. And in general, it's a huge conference that is hosted in like 2, sometimes 3 days. Another event, moving on, is on slightly different field, is Arts and Music Festival, also an annual event. And it has a very special place in my life because I was in organizing team my freshman year, working at Arts and Culture Center. And it's basically a music festival that lasts, so there's like that lasts for a week basically. And it's not just music. It's different kinds of arts. It's paintings, it's photography, it's also music and different kinds of genre of music, from traditional Chinese music to rock and whatever, rap music. And they host huge concerts. And the fun stuff is that it's not only by DKU students and professors, but from with people from all around China. We had actually quite popular rock bands performing at DKU. So I think it's a pretty cool event, and it lasts for a week. So you can like go to different exhibitions and then attend that concert and then go see some photography. And some photographers also come in person to present their photos. So it's also like a huge, great event. Last but not least, although like great big annual events are amazing, but one of my favorites is that so as Atman mentioned, there are resident assistants at DKU, and basically I think it's amazing to find like like beauty in our everyday lives, because basically resident assistants are those people, those upperclassmen assigned to certain like parts of the dorm who help you with your everyday life. And most importantly, they organize so many great events. Like there are so many amazing, fun, interesting events of different kinds. And I think they're so great because it's a great networking opportunity, and you can just hop in with your friends and have fun there, or meet new people, because they're so like cozy and chill most of the times. You can just come there, talk to new people, relax, and forget about your like academic stress or whatever. Because like one of them last year, one of the amazing ones was hosted by already graduated senior, who just made amazing cha and gathered people, and he just provided some poetry. We were just reading poems together, drinking that amazing cha and talking to each other. It was such a like cozy little like intimate bonding moment. It was great. Yeah.
Thank you, Tamers. Generally speaking, I'd say you can also relax by having like a fun class that you really enjoy. So I want to ask you guys, what has been your favorite class so far at DKU, or perhaps a favorite professor, and why do you say that? Do we perhaps want to start with Faith this time?
Yeah, I was just trying to think about it. I think overall, I think the one I'm taking right now, I'm taking this, I didn't want to double up on physics classes this session, so instead I opted out of, I dropped all my physics classes and I switched into this lit class randomly from like one of my friends' recommendations. Well, I can recommend you some really good physics professors if you want, because I know all of them. The lit class I'm taking is taught by Carl yeah, I can't say his name. I will put it in the chat, but you should. Yes, yes, him. He's an amazing professor. He's probably the best like literature professor I've had. I actually haven't taken a lit class here, so it's called like Reading Empires, and you just like explore like the effects of like colonization on the world and like the like mindset you have. He's like a really great professor. He's really funny. he tries to make the classes like as small as possible. He puts in like the wrong description in DKU Hub so that no one will join it. And then he puts in it's at like 8:30 in the morning. And so when I joined like the second day, the second class, not the first class, he oh yeah, sorry. We're not supposed to praise him, and he told us to not recommend him to anyone, but I'm completely breaking that rule. Sophia said that. She's also in my class. But it doesn't matter. He's an amazing professor. He's given me like the best like feedback, I think, on any of my like written work. Honestly, I don't usually get feedback because it's usually just lab reports, but he like wants you to like challenge yourself, but also is really proud of like whatever you can challenge yourself to do. So I think if you take a class with, I'll put his name in the chat, just take a class with him. He's really great. He's probably one of my funnest professors, and it's not a bad 8 a.m. class. So yeah.
Thank you, Faith. I also have to voice that Kayo Yurko. He's absolutely fantastic. Matilda, who has been your favorite professor or your favorite class so far?
I would there are so many classes. It's a hard choice, but I would say it's the class I'm taking right now. So it's she's not actually a formal DKU professor. She's a visiting professor. But she's a documentary director from Hong Kong, and she's based in Hong Kong, but she really do her most work in Hawaii. Yeah. Um, so this class is called, it's a media art class, but it's like a mixture of like a lot of things. So it's called Performing Race, Gender, and Sexuality Through Film. So like watch and discuss a lot about different films. And we spent like the first 2 weeks talking about Orientalism, and then now we move into more like marginalized community, like the LGBTQ community, and also the disabled community. And now we're focusing on making our final project, which is a little like documentary piece on menstruation shame. We like interview, I don't know, like 50 different people in DKU community, like professors, staff, students, and we're editing it, and we're probably gonna have the formal screening next week, yeah, in DKU.
Thank you. That sounds really interesting, and good luck with the screening. Offman, what has been your favorite class so far, or professor even?
My favorite classes are math and CS classes, but one class, I wouldn't say underrated, but one class that people, I guess, forgot to mention is Chinese class. I think it's the most fun class that you can actually take at DKU. It's the only class where first, it's only your international friends, so it's not gonna be dominated by a certain, because when it comes to your major, it just depends on how common your major is, how big it is, and so on. But then when it comes to Chinese, it's different type of class. You have different classmates. The professors are really good, are really helpful. We do so many fun activities, and yeah, I just think Chinese is so fun. Yeah.
Thank you. Tamiris, what has been your favorite?
My favorite class, I'm gonna mention my major class, is international political economy, Polycon 201, taught by David Landry, and he's so far my favorite professor, and it's been my favorite class for like 3 years, I think. It's basically Polycon major class about economics of politics, basically, and it was amazing. And professor, I really liked the way professor taught that class, because it was like the good mixture of theory and kind of like practical application of that knowledge, because he also had like background working for different international organizations such as IMF, I think, or he also did and does a lot of consulting. So it's basically a great opportunity to, I don't know, like delve into the field, both from the theoretical and more practical perspectives. And I cannot not mention my professor from this year of ethics, but it's also ethics for econ, basically, because that's the only way I can digest ethics personally. And he was amazing. Like, econ professor who genuinely does like he did who did econ for most of his career and like academic career whatsoever, teaches ethics of it is, I think, a lot of fun. You know, how we get called a lot of the times unethical people or like certain like utilitarian decisions. And it was a lot of fun basically studying ethics behind all the market choices. So yeah, definitely recommend, and I genuinely enjoyed it. So like I recommend majoring in econ basically. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you, Thomas. And then Delphin, what was your experience like?
I have a lot of classes I want to share, so I'll put it in the chat and people can read it, because I don't want to take time.
Okay, that's fair. Then I have one last question for all of our panelists, and then we can also open the field for Q&As from the chat. But, you know, coming to China for a lot of our students, especially international students, means coming a very long way to go abroad and like, you know, join a new country, a new culture, a new surrounding. So when, you know, we speak to admitted students, a lot of them tell us that, oh, you know, they think and they fear going so far away from home. So, you know, I would just like to ask all of you that, do you have any advice for the people here who are watching this panel today, who might be in a similar situation of, you know, having that so-called like FOMO, fear of missing out, by going abroad, studying at DKU? Do we perhaps, Offman, do you want to start?
Yeah, I will say that it's definitely China's definitely very different from any other country you could go to. And getting used to living here is not gonna be easy. It depends on you, of course. It depends on a lot of factors, but it's never easy to, especially if you don't speak the language. If it's a culture you've never heard of or been immersed in. So I won't say it's easy, right? But I will say it's worth it. Especially DKU, because not only you get to be in such an international setting environment with so many people from so many different places that are actually in the same situation as you. They all came all the way from wherever they're from to uh, this place with you. And at the same time, you're in an unknown environment in China, in a whole different culture, where people don't speak the language. The language is very different from your own native language and so on. I would say it's worth it. There's gonna be a lot of support here, so you're gonna find yourself with people that are in the same situation at you, and that makes it a bit better. It takes time, of course, but then you get so much out of it. When you think about, I'm graduating soon, and I think about all my friends that I made that are graduated already and how they all work and live in different places around the world. I think about how I could just visit any one of them in a different country and still have a place to stay and a free touristic guide to show you around and so on. There is that, there are all the connections that you make that could help you in your career as well. And of course, coming to a country as powerful as China and the way it's growing now puts you in a very unique position, especially that you're a foreigner here, which means you could be a bridge between your own country and China. Yeah, there's so much I could keep going talking about this, but yeah, I'll just let the others say what they think.
Thank you, Offman. Tamiris, do you want to go next?
Yes, sure. Yeah, I also don't want to sugarcoat that. It will be challenging, and obviously, by making a certain choice, you will always have a certain opportunity cost of like missing out on something back home or on of going to other countries. But I think you should choose for yourself and decide for yourself what kind of experience you're looking for. And if you're looking for diverse international community where you can challenge yourself from so many different sides and from so many different perspectives. Delve into the community of various perspectives, again, like coming from like so many different parts of the world. Obviously, people share different opinions on religion, politics, and international relations, and many other things. If you're looking for that academically challenging experience as well, I would say DKU is the right place for you. But if you prioritize other things, I think you should also think for yourself, basically. But yeah, I hope that this session and we in general as ambassadors will be helpful for you to decide if DKU is the right place for you.
Thank you, Tamaris. Faith, do you want to hop in?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's already been said. I think Ottman made probably the best. He shouldn't have started because he said almost everything. But I think, yeah, if you come to DKU, you will probably like, just like somebody said, you will like you might have a little bit of regrets, but you're definitely gonna build like a really, really strong community here. Just because everyone's going through the same thing. So there's never going to be a person who's like, oh my God, I don't know if they're going to feel the same way I feel. There's definitely someone feeling the same way. You just have to say it. And you'll find someone at DKU. And that goes for like all aspects, even not even like missing home, but like just in general. I think there's always like every one of the countries I feel like that is represented in DKU has like their own culture and like their own little like group of people, even though I can't say the Americans are kind of the most like displaced and like wild ones, but a lot of them, they're like, if you're, I know the Mongolians are strong. Ottman can say that the Moroccans are a strong group, but they all like if you're missing some part of your culture, there's always going to be someone there to like talk to about it. Yeah. Even one of my good friends is like Lithuanian and she finds like random she found all the other the oh wait, what's it called? Nope, never mind. She found her Polish person and they talk about all their great foods that are collectively shared. But you can always find someone who will be feeling similar to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Faith. Matilda, what would you like add to the conversation?
Oh, sorry. I think I'm a little stuck.
You're good on my end.
Oh, sorry. What's the question again? Sorry, I've been lost.
What advice would you give to students who have this like fear of missing out if they leave home, join a different city or just moving away from home? What would you like give them as an advice?
Um, Yeah, I feel some Chinese students would also have the feeling because I mean China is such a big area and there's like a big cultural difference in different area like regions as well. But I feel it is a place that people are really willing to share and like meet new people in general. And you can always because I feel people who would come here are people who are willing to like have the culture clashes or like accept those culture differences and find ways to overcome it. So I feel it's a really open and tolerant and nice and united community that you can always find someone who you can connect to. So yeah, at least that's my feeling. Like building a relationship with my friend from very different countries, from different cultural backgrounds. Yeah.
Thank you. And Delphine, do you want to be the last word?
So one advice is that DKU does have an on-campus counseling team called COWS, so you can always schedule appointments to talk to them if you don't want to talk to friends about it. Another thing is that I think number one thing is keeping yourself busy because you're only here for about 4 months, assuming you go back home for holidays. And if you look for it, DKU keeps you busy enough that sometimes you don't have time to think about how you feel about being here and you get used to it pretty quickly. But yeah, number one tip talk to cows, talk to professionals. Also, if you're insurance, you can go to Jiaohui Hospital, which is covered by insurance, and get weekly therapy appointments. So that's also an option. And just keep yourself busy, and you can schedule time to talk to your family and friends. The time zone may be a lot, but it's never impossible to make time for it. And technology is great. You can talk on the phone, you can talk FaceTime. Don't worry about it.
Oh, sorry, can I
Thank
add up
you.
several
Of
last
course.
words?
Of course, please.
But like in terms of my experiences before of like because I'm not originally from Shanghai actually. So I moved to Shanghai when I was like 12. So I'm from the north of China, which have like pretty different culture from Shanghai, like representative of the south of China. But I feel it, well, of course you have a hometown, which is the place where you spend the most of the time when you're a kid. But after you make a lot of connections with the people, the places and the narratives you encounter in this place, this place can always be your, I don't know, like second or third hometown, right? So I think it's a very like personal and private experiences in terms of that.
Thank you, Matilda. I think you wrapped it up perfectly by saying that, DKU can become someone's second, third, even more of home. So that was a really nice comment. Thank you. With that being said, we are done with like our prepared questions. If you have any questions to all attendees, feel free to drop it in the like chat box. We will answer them as much as we can. And I already see we have one that is like, has it been easy getting involved in research with professors? Do any of you want to take it?
I can take it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so actually most of the time I would say very easy. Professors here are very accessible. They're very easy to reach. And sometimes all it takes for you to join the research is shooting them an email. Um, on top of that, there's so much support. For example, we just submitted me and my research team a paper this weekend to be published. And we got other projects going on. So, and there is the SRS program, summer research what? SRS. I'm not
Scholar.
sure. Scholar,
Summer
yeah.
research scholar.
Yeah, so if you become a summer research scholar, and to do that, you usually professors would post their research, and they would um, um, tell what kind of student they're looking for. Then you can stay over the summer at DKU. It's fully funded, so you stay here for free and you get paid, and then you can participate in research over the summer. And on top of that, you could just be a research assistant over throughout the semester as well. So yeah, it's been very easy. They're very accessible, and yeah, that's what's really nice about DKU.
Thank you, Hoffman. Do any of our panelists have anything to respond that Hoffman hasn't mentioned yet?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can
later.
mention on the oh
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can go first. You can go first. Oh.
oh okay, thank you. I just wanted to quickly mention that one of the other researches that I did like not really with professors from DKU was under basically there's a innovation and entrepreneurship lab at DKU that we have and that collaborates with different firms and companies in different industries. So for me, they collaborated with World Economic Forum and we conducted research in teams, like in a team of five. And it lasted for a year. We were under the supervision of the one of the uh basically representatives of the World Economic Forum, and it was a really great experience to gain the actual knowledge and practical knowledge and understanding of the field and of the activities basically of the research done by World Economic Forum, their values, and getting the feedback on our work. It was a very valuable experience basically. So that's another kind of research that you can get engaged at DKU.
Yeah. So I haven't been joining the program the research program that I'm doing for a long time, but my roommate had been doing research with professors since her second semester in freshman year, I think. She was only taking like the most basic biology class that time, like Bio 110. And then she just like I performed pretty well in the class. And then the professor is launching a new program about like how I think about how capsaicin can kill the cancer cells. And then she just like gave the whole like project to her. She just like my roommate to be the leader of the research team and like ask her to like ask is there like anyone else who are interested in it, just like make her full responsible for it. So yeah, I think in general professors are all very like supportive and encouraging about students joining the research team, even though you're only like a freshman, but they will like actually tell you like what to do like step by step if you don't have that much experiences before. Yeah. In terms of my personal experiences, so there's a period that I'm pretty interested in the Jewish refugee history in Shanghai during the Second World War. So I just like email like two professors in our school who like did research on that. And they just like send me like a super long list of like articles and like books I can like refer to and I can like read to see whether there's any points that interest me. So yeah, I think general professors are like really, really supportive.
Thank you, guys. We have a couple more questions that we will get to. If there are any questions that we don't get to today, I think we have our like Instagrams listed in the chat, so feel free to contact any of us. But to my fellow internationals, I would like to ask, how has your experiences with internships been, both in and outside of China? Do any of you want to take it? Okay, I'll rephrase the question. Has any of you had any internship opportunities so far, in or outside of China?
Yeah, I did back home. Um, it's a very vague question. But I'll talk about career services at DKU. I tried applying to internships. I never actually focused on getting an internship and more focusing on doing research. But I tried a few times and career services were very helpful. Uh, in general, knowing Chinese is a big plus if you want to find internships within China, but you can still get away with not knowing a lot of Chinese, just having basic knowledge or even almost none. I know, for example, someone who graduated last year who's currently working in Kunshan after majoring in material science, and she knows her Chinese is okay, but it's not what got her the internship because it's all in English. Um, for my internship, it was back home. And career services helped me with revising my resume, stuff like that, preparing for interviews. So it could be helpful when it comes to that. But I would say a lot of it depends on you as well. It's no one is gonna give you an internship for free. I would lie if I were to tell you that. And it's obviously gonna be competitive. So a lot of it depends on you as well.
Thank you, Hoffman. Anyone else had any experiences?
Because for Chinese student we have like a class for a whole month in the summer and freshman year, so I haven't had any internship before, but I go to career service a lot and they have like walk-in sessions every day from like Tuesday to Thursday. So you can like just walk into their office, like ask them to help you with their interview. They can do like a mock interview or they can just help you modify your resume. So they have a lot of resources. Also, they have like a list of internship, like summer internship, like also like full-time job. Like they will update it like every week basically. So you can find like a lot of useful information on their website. Also, in terms of grad school information, if you're thinking about to apply for like a master or PhD, the career service has a lot of grad school info sessions, like 2 or 3 every week, for different majors and different university. So yeah, I think that will also be very helpful.
Thank you. And then one last question for all of you. And I would like to ask Faith to hop in here. Someone asked, given the great amount of like opportunities presented at DKU, do you ever feel overwhelmed with the options?
I was literally just texting it out to respond if you didn't get to this question. But yeah, I think everyone will get overwhelmed at some point. Like I think that's just natural for college in general, but specifically at DKU, there are so many opportunities and so many. I think this is just a real big community of people who are like so extremely dedicated to doing a very hardworking community, I think is the best way to put it. But I think it's really important when you come to DKU just to take your own pace and know what you want to do and not get stressed about everything else everyone else is doing. I think that's the best way to take it. Everyone goes at their own pace. But I think DKU does have a lot of amazing opportunities, and that's never like certainly a bad thing. I think it's better to have a significant amount of opportunities than to have not as many opportunities available to you. But DKU does have so many diverse opportunities that, yeah, it can get just a little overwhelming, but it's just important to remember it's okay. And you don't have to take every single one of them because that's a bit too much. But yeah, just do whatever you need best to do and I think you'll do good. Yeah.
Thank you, Faith. Anyone else has anything to add to the conversation?
Yeah, I think I really agree with what Faith just said. I really like the culture in DKU, just like people really respect other people's option and their choices of their own path. It's just not like the culture in DKU is not like everyone just like flock to like investment bank or consultancy. I mean, they're like a really good job, but the only reason you should go in there is because you like them or you enjoy it, not because like everyone else is like going in there. So I think in DKU, like all of the upperclassmen, all the graduates I've met, they all have the passion and bravery to pursue their own path of like life and their own career. Like we have a student from class 2024 who is now a professional DJ, and which is like really fascinating. So yeah, I think that's a really like healthy culture here, I feel.
Thank you, Matilda, and thank you all of our panelists for the great answers to all of our questions and staying up so late given China time. With that being said, if no one has anything else pressing to say, I'll hand it back over to Russell.
Wow, I love ending on the professional DJ story. That's pretty cool. I just want to thank everybody who has joined us this morning, this afternoon, this evening. Of course, panelists, and many of you I know, we're at midnight. It is the next day. So thank you so much. Tekla, thank you for serving as our moderator today. And of course, thank you as our attendees interested in DKU. As you well know, we love to stay in touch with you. So if you have any further questions, please reach out to us at any time. I put a link into the chat about our alumni panel happening next Saturday. A great group of alumni spanning the years at DKU will be sharing their stories, their journeys from being where you are now to now in their various postgraduate careers and jobs and graduate school. So without further ado, let's close this one down and say thank you all very much and have a great rest of your day. And to our panelists and other guests in China, get some sleep. Bye, everybody.